Hey, what's going on, guys? Porter here, and today we're going to go over a gun guide of the MG82. Now, it recently has been nerfed, so I'll discuss the nerf as well as to see if it's still viable. And then we'll go over attachments, how to use, and I'll give an overall rating. And then in a separate video, I'll have gameplay of the MG82 so you can see if it's still good after the nerf and all that good stuff. But other than that, guys, if you find this video helpful in any way, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. But let's go on and get into it. So here is the nerf that they did back on June 22nd to the MG82. This thing was an absolute beast when it came out in Season 4, so it definitely needs some kind of nerf. So as you look down here, you may see a very long list of nerfs that they did here, but don't let that freak you out. I've used this gun a lot, and later on in this video, when I give an overall rating, I'll let you know what I think of this gun. I've used it a lot since the nerf, so don't let this list freak you out. So, long story short, all these nerfs that they did here, they basically decreased the damage of it and the damage range, and they increased the recoil to the gun a little bit. But feel free to take your time, look at all these individually, and here's the notes down here explaining why they did it. Alright, here's my attachments for this gun, but let's go ahead and do a little bit deep dive. I'll explain why I picked the attachments that I did, as well as I'll give you alternative picks that you can do. So with the muzzle, I went with the suppressor just because it gives you sound suppression, obviously. Helps with your aim down sight speed, your bullet velocity, and then as an added bonus, it gives you that sprint to fire speed, but that's not as important for mid to long range engagements. So I primarily went with this because of the aim down sight speed, because LMGs are on the slower side, and I wanted to speed up that aim down sight speed. So if you want something that doesn't hurt your effective damage range, you can go with the HC suppressor. It'll help out with that vertical recoil control just a little bit, and then it'll help out with the bullet velocity and effective damage range even more. But once again, this one will hurt your aim down sight speed, so it'll make it slower. So that's why I went with the suppressor. I wanted it faster. For the barrel, I went with the task force. It's going to help out your bullet velocity significantly. It's going to help your horizontal and vertical recoil and your effective damage range. So with this gun, it's primarily vertical recoil, but after the nerf, the vertical recoil is very aggressive now. So this barrel will help out with that vertical recoil and it'll help tame it. So the Parrot with the field agent grip to help with that vertical recoil. That's why I put this on, because once again we want to control that as much as possible because it is very aggressive now. Then pick whatever optic you're comfortable with, and then for the rear grip I went with the airborne elastic wrap because it's going to help with the ADS significantly. So pairing this with the sound suppressor, it feels like the ADS time is very snappy now. As well as an added bonus that gives you flinch resistance. It helps you stay on target if somebody's shooting you at range. So that's a nice little stat there. So what you could do, if you don't need as much ADS, if you're fine with it being slower, or if you're good at controlling vertical recoil, you could take off one of these two depending on your situation, and you could put on the 125 round magazine, um, because this thing does reload slow, so this will give you an extra 25 shots. Unfortunately, I've tried the fast mag multiple times and I could not tell a difference. I thought it was still the same as the standard. I didn't think it was worth it. So if you want to do anything, put on the 125 and it won't hurt your ADS or anything. So that's kind of my tip right there. All right, so how to use this gun. So since it is an LMG, the movement speed is still going to be on the slower side, but with this current build right here, the ADS will be snappier, but we need to pair it with a good SMG that can shoot up to 20 meters. Then if you can shoot it up to 30 meters, that's an added bonus. So an example would be the MAC or the LC-10. Those guns are easy to control and shoot at a good distance. Another good tip is the reload. The reload on this gun is super slow. So when you start reloading, as soon as you see the ammo is full on the bottom right hand corner, double tap, swap weapons, or start sprinting, and it'll cancel the rest of the animation, and it'll just speed it up just a little bit more, but that could be a deciding factor between a fight. So for the overall rating, I'm going to give this gun, even after the nerf, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a balanced gun. I think it's still definitely usable. I really still enjoy to use it. Just the only downside is it's on the slower side, and the reload is just so slow. Um, that part kind of sucks, but as far as time to kill, this thing has a really good time to kill still, and the way I have it kitted, even though the vertical recoil after the nerf is pretty aggressive, vertical recoil is the easiest to control, and with these attachments, it definitely helps tame that. So I think they did a pretty good job at nerfing this gun. I don't think they nerfed it to the ground at all. I still think it's a good option to use. I don't think it's quite meta tier, but I think it's just right below that. You can still use it. You can still win gunfights perfectly fine. But like I said, the big negative is it's just going to be slower. All right, that does it for the MG82 gun guide. Hopefully you guys found this information helpful. Make sure to port it up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.